Allison Jordan. Repair, renew, reclaim. And now your host, Allison Jordan.
How you guys doing, Brain Joes? Every week, I say, don't turn down my music and let me groove for a little bit. And every week it gets turned down. I'm going to have to get Earl over here to play my music because he lets me jam. Hi, Brain Joes. Welcome to another episode of The Brain Truth on intellectualradio.com and iHeartRadio station. I am so excited to be here, Brain Joes. I love you. I hope you guys are tuning in on all of our platforms, intellectualradio.com, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Twitch, we're everywhere. Hey! So, before I get started, of course, I've got to read our disclaimer from the Brain Gang. So, here we go. The Brain Truth does not serve the purpose of providing medical treatment or therapy services, diagnosis, prevention, or cure for any physical, mental, or emotional issue, disease, or condition. As a member of our audience, you agree that the Brain Truth does not assume liability for any physical or mental disease, condition, or issue, or any other type of loss or damage due to any information shared on our broadcast. Thank you. And I want to go right into, because we got a loaded show today, so let me zip through my sponsors and everything I need to say. But I do want to say that we still need sponsors. I want to stress that every week. I don't care if it's $5, $25. We've got to continue to pay for this, pay for the programming, pay for the studio, pay for Earl, because every week he has a different hat. He has a different hat this week and last week. So we just got to keep bringing in the money. And we have Cash App at The Brain Truth. Cash App, the little money sign, The Brain Truth. Or you can go to thebraintruth.com and go to sponsor and support. There we go, right there on the screen. So I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Gemini Labs, which is also partnered with Swabs and Swirls, where we do our rapid COVID tests every week. So we all are COVID free, are we not? Can we kiss? Can we hug? And we are so excited that Intellectual Radio and Earl has welcomed us here at the station. So we're here every Tuesday from 6 to 10 or from 6 to 8 or something like that to do rapid COVID tests. And I want to say, Dr. Rita Lifestyles, thank you so much for your continued sponsorship. NAMI South Suburbs, which I am a board member, and River Edge Hospital. I've got some really incredible stuff to talk about River Edge next week. I have a sit-down meeting with the CEO, Allison, and we're just going to do some really incredible things with the Brain Truth and the Brain King that's going to be coming up. Epic Arts and Entertainment, Patch Party Club, and Brain Truth Wakana. So remember, I think last week I told you, I'm going to tell you again, that we are putting on a mental health first aid class certification for adults. That's going to be on November 19th. This is going to be presented by NAMI South Suburbs from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Space is limited. And remember, I said I was certified as a mental health first aider for youth, but this is for adults. It's really important because you'll learn risk factors and warning signs and any kind of anxiety and depression, any type of those warning signs, and be of help. Call 708-638-8394. That's 708-638-8394. So you can register and get certified as a mental health first aider. We also have our Burgers for Blankets. This is our second annual for NAMI South Suburbs, and that will be taking place on November 13th from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So go on Amazon, go to your grandmama's house, go wherever, get a blanket, because we're donated to a lot of homeless shelters and people in need. And once you donate that blanket, you get a burger. You get a juicy fat burger from Lassen's Tap, and that's located in Homewood. So here's another number. Write it down. 708-852-9126. 708-852-9126. Okay? So that's it. That's my sponsors. Again, please give me some more money. I don't have none. I need some. Hi, Rhonda. I see you, sister. Now, we're going to be taking calls later on. That phone number is 708 I gave y'all a lot of numbers today. I hope y'all got. Maybe I should start. I should start off like, do y'all got a pen and paper? Because I'll be giving a lot of stuff. I'm tired already. I ain't even talked to people yet. Okay, 708-223-8953. Don't get these numbers mixed up. So this is the number to the studio, 708-223-8953. Because I really want you guys to call in. Because today's show is like super off the chain. And I want you guys to like get into it because we're going to be talking to the Zoomers. Now, I had no idea anything about the Zoomers. I don't know anything about Generation Z, but it's so fascinating. And what's most important is the connection between Generation Z and mental health. And I think if you have anybody that's around, that's born, that's either the ages 9 to 24, I think that's the category of a Zoomer. Have them listen. But again, we will be talking about some subjects that could be sensitive to youth. So at your discretions, mom and dad or guardians, we are talking about mental health. Some things could, trigger, or some things could be a little bit emotional at times. So use your discretion, but we are going to be talking about your night. So look around your house. If they dirtying up or have loud music, I'm sure they're on a computer somewhere because that's what these people do. Tell them to stop and tune into this conversation. So right now I want to introduce our guest. So right now we have tonight on the show, and see, my computer broke, you guys. My dog, my little Bindi, she broke my computer and I couldn't print out nothing, right? Because I like paper because I'm old. I'm in an older generation. But then I was like, you know what? I can look really cool and read my stuff off my phone because I'm around the Zoomers, right? So I look all technological. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. Anthony Ward Jr. is the father of 3 beautiful little girls, ages 5, 3, and 9 months, and married to his college sweetheart. He has worked in the mental health field since 2006 after graduating from Northwestern University. Oh, he's smart. Where he majored in psychology. Anthony has worked in various settings, from a therapeutic day school, psychiatric hospital, group home, to a residential treatment facility in various capacities. He is currently employed as a clinical therapist at Rice Child and Family Center of Children's Home and Aid, where he provides therapeutic services to a unit of 9 complexly traumatized children. Wow. So that's one of our first guests. And then our next guest is Rachel. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Anthony. Rachel Stewart, who's one of our brain gang. And we had a big task on Sunday, honey. We had on our gang jackets. See, I have on my gang jacket today. We did some extraordinary stuff on Sunday together. But she is the Brain Truth in-house parent advocate. She is a home health nurse providing intermittent visits to the geriatric community. She is a full-time student and a mother of 3, and I know those 3 beautiful kids. Her purpose is to raise awareness, educating, and creating a safe space for parents and siblings dealing with mental wellness within the home. Welcome, Rachel. Hey,
Hi.
Mama. My mama's watching everybody. Hey, Rachel. Brain gang. We need to have like a brain gang sign. So when you come on, we be
gang,
like,
gang.
Like some, I don't know. We got to come up with some. Anthony, help us get a little sign. Okay. And then we have Hadassah. Did I say that correctly? She's in the studio with me. Hadassah Denton, and is an authentic, passionate, and driven Zoomer. I feel like they're like celebrities right now, who has been diagnosed with bipolar and ADHD. She will give insight into her generation and its relationship with mental health and wellness. Welcome, Hadassah. Welcome, Rachel. Welcome, Anthony, to the Brain Truth. Are we all here? Yay!
Yes.
So I don't know who to start with because I'm telling you. Oh, hey, Rachel, your spiritual daughter. You see, my mama is on here. She's talking to y'all. So I don't know. I want to tell you guys what I learned about Zoomers. I just want to kind of go through the research, because when I got the show idea, I literally knew nothing about it. But after researching and reading some peer-reviewed articles and just really diving into it, I am completely fascinated. So, members of Generation Z, those are individuals that are born between 1995 and 2010. They are our first digital natives, meaning y'all were born with a phone in your hand and their baby pictures with a selfie. They're very diverse, pragmatic, and financially minded and shrewd consumers, politically progressive. And here's the big one, they're called blurry. Have you ever heard that terminology, blurry? Well, that's because they have experienced in their lifetimes things that are sort of like new cutting edge, right? Like same-sex family households and single mothers. You guys are sexually fluid, like kind of cool about it. Like, it's no, it's like y'all are cool, y'all the hip people. But when it comes to the impact on mental health, according to the American Psychology Association and Pew Research Center, Zoomers have been called the most depressed generation. However, members of this group are more likely than any other group to seek out mental health counseling. And they're over 70% are growing up in an age of increased stress and anxiety because technology and this hyper-connected world can evoke intense feelings and isolation and loneliness in some youth, and can also fuel a steady drumbeat of negative news stories. Right? So you guys have grown up in like this technology, and then you've also been exposed to a lot of tumultuous things like 9/11, political unrest, and blah, blah, blah. So you guys are just like, you're dope in all aspects, even though we're going to talk about the mental health impact, but just to know that you guys are like always like okay with like everything, that's powerful. So I want to start with Anthony Ward first, because he's every day seeing this environment. And I just kind of want to see from his perspective, I just did my research. You live this every day. So I just kind of want to hear from you. Do you see in some of the research that I just read? Is that true? Is it fake? Is it false? Is it accurate? And what are some of your experiences?
Yeah, I do think that the young people that we have now, that blurry thing that I've never heard it stated that way before, but yeah, it's a lot of things that are lines are blurred. Nothing is really consistent for them. They've seen a lot of change, and to be a young person nowadays is to have so much things coming in at you. I do think that it's difficult for young people to understand their own identity where they have nothing just to hang their hat on. And when you have so much entertainment at your fingertips and everything is at the push of a button, it can lead to like great enjoyment of things in your entertainment, but also an inability to sit still, right? You need entertainment at all points. And so that for a lot of young people in this generation, the Zoomer generation, to be still is to be bored, and to be bored is to have some kind of psychological distress. And it's a very uncomfortable place to be. So it's like either always be connected, always be on top of everything with your social media feed, or you feel like you're left out and left behind. And so it just leads to a lot of young people feeling distressed, even though they have more, let's say, freedom to choose, even if they have more things to identify and use and grow in, it becomes too many things to juggle all at once. ADHD is one of those things that are so high and on the rise. And I think part of that is when you have so much coming in at you, it's hard to attend to everything. So I think sometimes we have self-induced ADHD, and it's not just that generation, it is all generations who are now tech involved, right? So anybody who's currently looking at me and also looking at their phone and also have a podcast in their ear, maybe in the background is the TV, like it's really hard to stay focused. So you see a lot of young people nowadays who have this up and down in their emotions, and then a struggle to find their identity and a struggle kind of just to make meaning of their world, right? So many things to choose, so many things to figure out, and they get paralyzed in it, right? At some point, it's just like too much, and it's the paradox of choice. Like when you have too many choices, you almost can't choose anything because you're always fearing that what am I choosing now is going to be missing out on something else. And so it's like, it's hard to choose because if I go to this party, I'm gonna miss 3 other parties. And so you sitting at one party, viewing in on everybody else's videos on what's the other party. So you just see a set of young people who are just finding it hard to be settled in their skin and to move forward in their identity. And so it's been tough. I do think I see a lot of young people just having a tough time, tough go of things.
And I can see how, and I'm going to get on to Hadassah, and then we're going to talk to Rachel, because here it is, you guys are, having these struggles with mental health, mental wellness, right? And then you're this technology community, but then when you're in a mental institution, they take your technology away, which could be a trigger. It's like, hold up now, that's my lifeline, that's who I is, that's my identity, So I want to talk about, like, how do we kind of balance that, So Hadassah, I know you're open and willing because, that's just what y'all do. But tell us a little bit about your journey and, like, your diagnosis, and when did you know, and who did you talk to? Can you walk me through, like, what happened today and how you came to realize that you needed help and just your journey? Are you willing to share that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. See, that's what I'm saying. Generation. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you everything. Write it down. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. I feel like
Come to the mic.
the journey started when I was really, really young, probably like 8 or 9. My mom noticed that I would get really angry or passionate about certain things and then shut down. But she wanted to find me help through, like, going to seek doctors and, like, in the church. She would really try to find help in other ways. She didn't really want to go the route of, like, doctors and medicine and stuff. But I feel like as soon as she started taking me to the doctors, they really, like, pushed pills and pushed, like, medications and stuff.
So tell me, like, what happened when you say you were angry? You just, all of a sudden, just something happened, or you just started, like, lashing out, or, like, what did it look like? And the reason I'm asking specific, because we have a parent advocate here, and I think it's really important. And I don't want to speak for you, Rachel, but she has, are you open to talk about your experience with your child? Yes. Okay, so how about that? How about I stop, and Rachel, you kind of talk to Hadassah, because she has a child that's also, I think, your age, but definitely a Gen Z. And the things that we're exhibiting, you have to be the one to speak to us and bring some type of normality to the conversation, because you're sitting here, I'm having this conversation, we talked earlier, you're a cool chick, you know what I'm saying? You're dope, right? But you also are experiencing mental wellness, and it happened like me. And I kind of want you to tell us what happened. How did it look like? You said you're lashing out. Was it to a point where your family, like, they could support you in this, or just give us, like, more insight on it?
Okay.
Yeah.
In 7th grade, I started, like, going out and kind of creating more friends and stuff. So I would try to get away from home, and that made me with lashing out, I feel like I wouldn't come home. I would rather be out with my friends, or rather be with, like, people that I barely knew. So, like, through high school and through, like, in middle school too, it was just, like, understanding, like, I can, like, hear myself. That's why it's
if you take it out, it's gonna beep.
Yeah. So through high school, and, like, I would just say that.
So you were rambunctious. You were at home, just causing crazy havoc.
I was just not around, like.
You were running away and stuff like that?
I would run away. I would just try to find myself. I was just trying to, like, find myself through, like, smoking weed or, like, trying different drugs. So, like, mixing that with the mental health, it was really just, like, delaying me and making me, like, push away from my family a lot. And, like, my mom sent me to Rosecrans, which was, like, it was mental health, but it was also for, like, smoking marijuana and stuff. And it made me realize and really, like, look at my life as a whole, and, like, wow, I really am trying to run away from my issues. Why am I so angry? Why do I, like, do certain things, like certain tics or certain, like, moments where I'm, like, it's like I'll have a lot of energy to do things, but I don't know where to put that energy,
Okay.
And it was just, like, a lot of just miscommunication with my mom. I would, like, I'd call her out of her name and treat her really rude, and it was just, like, it was disgusting. Like, looking back now, I'm just like, how could I treat my mom like that?
Rachel, does this sound familiar?
Oh my gosh, she sounds just like my daughter.
Identity. And so what is that doing for you right now, hearing
About to
it
make
out
me
of
cry.
your mouth, like seriously, how does that feel?
Especially when she said her mom wasn't into the medicine. That was me in the beginning. That was me. She's running away, disrespecting her mom. That's my daughter. Smoking the weed, just trying to find comfort in other people. Everybody else was her family. Her family wasn't her family. People she met like 2 days ago was her family, So everything you've literally said is identical. Identical.
Hold on, we have a call. We're not taking calls right now, but I'll take it. Who's this? This is Allison from the Brain Truth. Hello? I don't hear anybody. Hello? No. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, we have a call here. Hello, this is Allison. I'm not hearing you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right, sorry about that. This is Queen. This is the princess, or Hadassah's mom.
Hi, Hadassah's mom.
Wow.
How are you?
So apparently you're listening in, and
Oh, absolutely. So one of the challenges growing up, she has 4 brothers. I have 4 sons and 1 daughter, and because Dad wasn't around and he wasn't around consistently, he was incarcerated. She didn't get that thing she needed from her father. And her brothers took her to father-daughter dances and things like that, but there was still a piece missing for her. She didn't get the, I love you, or you're my princess, or you're beautiful from her other half. She protected her brothers almost to the death. She would fight before the boys would. And when she got to middle school and then high school, it turned into like an inner aggression. And she would lash out. All I could do was love her from where she was, do the best I could with the choices she was making, and continue to love and guide her. Spirituality played a role. Lots of love and conversation played a role. She thought I was trying to ruin her life. Giving her rules and structure and, chores. We had those moments. I grew up, I think, what am I, Generation Y? We grew up where we didn't take that, and this is not how you respond to a parent. And there were just certain things we weren't going for.
So did you? So, Mom.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, hi, Queen. She's a Brain Gang member.
Hey.
And I'm glad that you called in, because I think there's a lot of things going on right now. I think you can add a little to the conversation with Rochelle, because she's freshly here where you were.
Okay.
And the frustration. I've been with her. I was there when we put her in the hospital, when I had to, make up a little white lie to get her from a different state. She had left state lines. And she was only speaking to me. And I had to go to the airport, and Rachel was hiding behind the popcorn stand. Like, we had the whole little operative, get her to.
I had an operation going.
Yes, for real. And I felt so sick because she was so mad at me. She was like, "You're a liar." And I'm like, but later on you'll realize why I had to lie, but we had to save her life. We had to give her help, right? And then
absolutely.
So I kind of want Anthony to really be in the middle of this conversation now, because from a therapeutic standpoint and healing right now, about seeing the differentiation of the mental wellness of this generation that you see every day, and these moms one mom who went through it and one mom who's going through it. I kind of want you to kind of intercede here, and I'm going to kind of take a back seat and kind of work through, because in my mind, this is some healing that could happen, because Rachel is fresh, with this.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the thing, the thing we can do as parents, as those who are carrying adults around them, is to be there and listen as much as we can. And you do have to have that village to raise a child. I think that's one of the things that we're struggling most, because people move so much and there's not really a strong family unit in this current day and age. But you need like this uncle, this mom, this dad, this whomever the young person is currently listening to be able to translate the information, to be able to bring things to them. And so I think always been the approach is, if you can get a young person to a therapist, great. If you can't, find someone else who's a caring adult that they're willing to listen to, willing to talk with, and then just allow the young person to speak about whatever they're going through, the emotions that they're feeling, allow them to lay it out there. And then you can help them make sense of it by reflecting back to them what you're hearing. So I think so often we as the adults, we will say, we know where you should go. And every young person is going to oppose that. Like, don't tell me what to do. Just because you said it, I don't want to do it. I have young people now. I got a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 9-month-old. And if I choose her clothes in the morning, she's like, I don't want it. Even if it's her favorite outfit. But just because I chose it, she don't want it. So we have to learn how to say, okay, tell me what it is that you're experiencing. And let me not give you some kind of set idea as to what you should do, but just let me hear you. Let me reflect what I'm hearing from you. Let me identify the emotions for you. And then try to put yourself in their shoes of like, okay, that must be tough. And I hear you. I'm trying to understand you. Like you, Mom, what you said is that the generations are different. Like authority is not seen by the Zoomers as it once was seen by us, right? Mm-hmm. Mom said it, we did it. You get slapped, right? Mm-hmm. But now it's like, no, you can't tell me what to do. And if you do tell me and you don't give me a reason why, I really will reject it out of hand. So I think part of what we need to do as an older generation is listen well, reflect well, and then identify the emotions for them, help them find what they're feeling. And then, just kind of carry them, support them as they go through this struggle of individuation is what they would call it, which is like the separation from the family unit. And it's just a tough time for these young people. And I think part of what you as a caring adult, as a mother or father in this situation, you have to be doing your own coping and positive coping, because you're going to be going through the ringer as you try to understand what's going on with them. You need to be able to show that you can stay calm, that you can listen well without reacting, that you aren't trying to put your expectations upon the young person, but that you're able to take a moment, hear it, and then be the positive person in that moment. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hadassah, does that resonate with?
Yeah, I feel like we need an open forum just to be able to be heard and feel listened to. A lot of times, we feel taken over by older generations because we want to respect them, but it's like we still have to say what we feel. We still have to say what we want. And just keeping that same mutual respect and just making sure you hear their wants and their needs also.
So Rhonda says, can you speak about the voice of conversation, child versus parents? How does parents signal the triggers? What are the intervention plans? I don't know who wants to answer that. Probably Anthony. Oh, there's someone on the phone. Oh, okay. Mom, you got to listen in because people want to call in.
Gotcha. So,
okay.
So what I would say with that is you need to know your child. I think every conversation should give you evidence or give you, feedback as to what the next conversation should be. And so if you can consider it like a landmine, like it's literally an emotional landmine that you're going through. And as you're attempting to talk and attempting to understand what's going on with your young person, if you step on a landmine and it blows up in your face, the next time you have to remember that. You have to say, okay, what did I say? What was my tone of voice in saying it that led to the negative reaction from them? And it's one of those things that conversations are continual. It happens multiple times. You cannot win every conversation all in one, right? You have to be willing to say, okay, we'll start here. I need to understand this part of what you're choosing, of what you're dealing with, and then take a break, right? Don't try to fix the child in one conversation. You have to be able to say, hey, I just need to know what's going on with you, what you're feeling, what led to that choice. Okay. And then when you have that tone of voice, you want to have a tone of curiosity. So not arguing, not trying to blame, not setting up like, hey, you know you did something wrong, because they'll automatically shut down. It really does have to be this point of curiosity, this point of like, I'm feeling for you. Like my heart is breaking and seeing some of the struggles you're going through. And I'm not going to yell at you about it. I'm going to try to understand why it's this difficult for you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so Rachel, how about this? You say all the things you experience with your daughter, and then you say yes, no, like it's a game show, because it can sound really good to say, talk nice and talk calm. But when she wake up and there's a little boy in her house in her daughter's bedroom doing whatever, hello, because here's my thing. How do we differentiate the mental wellness and say, oh, you got mental wellness, or you just a badass, kid, you know what I'm saying? Right. So go through, Rachel, your experience, because it's a lot. And then the parent needs counseling and help. Right. And then you say, yes, that happened. Yes, I did that. Because what I want to do is set it so she sees the perspective that this is just what happened to her, and it's going to be okay. Now let's walk us through reality versus what's possible.
I mean, anything's possible though.
Right, anything's possible. So Rachel, tell us your experience, because I've been there, honey.
Well, you want me to go way back from the beginning? Just some of the stuff that
go back to when you first started and noticing everything, the act that she did, everything that she leaving state. Did you ever leave state?
Probably 3, 4. My daughter was 3, 4, and I literally knew like something is wrong with her, and I'm her mother. But I just kind of let it just play out, because I'm thinking she'll grow out of it. This is just what kids do, it's just a phase. So as she got older, it got worse, actually. It got worse. So therapy. She's been to so many different therapists. I just hopped around to different therapists. Kind of didn't know what to do. A couple people recommended medication when she was younger, and I got offended, very offended, thinking like every time somebody comes in here with a little black child, you guys want to say bipolar and slap them on medication. So I refused the medication. And now here we are. She's 17. And she needs the medication, and she's refusing to take medication. So in all of that,
do you ever think like I coulda, shoulda, woulda, or?
I think that all the time. All the time. I've got a lot of guilt, a lot of me blaming myself, but I think that's part of the process too. Yeah, because I remember one place I took her to, and it's so funny, the medication that she said, I was like, Prozac, you crazy? My daughter's not taking no Prozac. I took that paper and threw it back at her and snatched my baby and left up out of there. And then here we go. What is this? 2019, when she was started on medication. Guess what she was started on? Prozac. So it was like, wow. I had just went with that back years ago. Would things be different? I don't know.
What are some of the hardest things that happened?
Well, when she left state, that was hard. She just hopped on a plane and went to Vegas. We have no family, anything. She was just out. She would just leave. She would leave for days, and then send me little texts and just pretty much, I'm out. I'm going to stay with such and such and such and such. The police constantly being here, and probably the hardest thing is having other children in the house, and you're trying to balance. They're seeing all of this. My 12-year-old son is so traumatized, it's ridiculous. Police are here. Probably about 5 times a week, I'm calling the police. She's climbing out the window, leaving the windows open, doors open. I get up for work. The house smells like weed. I go in her room. Some strange person is just laying in the bed with her. So I'm trying to keep my cool so my son doesn't see mom go, hood at 6 a.m. So sometimes you just have to bite your tongue and just think of the other children that have been so traumatized. So you call the police so much until you just like, come on in, do what you got to do. Just do the missing persons report, but I know nothing's going to happen. So just come on and do what you need to do because I need to go to work. That was my attitude at that point. You're holding me up. I'm dressed. Let me sign the paper because I have to go. Yeah. We already know she's going to come back, maybe stay a little bit and run away again. So just hurry this process along. Yeah.
I've seen it, and I just, first of all, thank you, Rachel, because I've been with you in the ditches and the, you know, in the trenches, and I know my mom who's watching, Pastor Jeanette, your spiritual mother, my real mama,
right
your
there,
pastor, she's
taking
there.
my text, 2 in the morning, I'll be texting your mom.
Right, yeah, and having a village and having, you know, that's why I was just so in a place of, you know, every show I get emotional, sorry. But I was just so grateful the other day that God chose me to experience a mental wellness break a year ago. And I think I haven't shared with you, but because this conversation would not be had. And Rachel, when I made that call to you and said, I need you to be a parent advocate, you know, you now know why, you know, the why, and how much of a help you can give to someone else. And insight in this experience, and Hadassah, you telling your truth can give comfort to somebody like Rachel, whose daughter is at the same place. So I'm just grateful that we are having these conversations. Anthony, I know you can speak to, you know, what do you do when a child is told they have to take, you know, Prozac and the parent throws it at them? You can't tear down a parent, you know. And then we've got a question and answer that. And then we've got a question and somebody on hold.
Yeah, I mean, I think
can they stay on hold?
One of the things that are difficult for us, particularly in the African American community or any minority community, like mental health is not something that we think about, not something that we readily accept. We are traditionally a religious community. And so we want to kind of do the spiritual component, you know, do the prayer, do those other things. And sometimes we wait for fear that our child is going to be labeled. But I think realize that, you know, any mental health journey, any mental wellness, I like how you're saying it that way, that it's just a way of getting better. So don't take it as somebody labeling you. The way I see medication, and medication is like a head start towards getting a young person or any person a chance to gain the skills so they can manage their own life. All right. Most medications you should not be on forever. But if you're in a stress and a trial and something where it's hard to know up from down, you need something to settle your mind and body so that you can start making healthy choices. And that's what medication should be used as, should be given for. There are some times that people over prescribe medication. But if you notice that your child is having difficulty kind of managing their emotions, having difficulty staying with a task, like that's something you start off with talk therapy and then maybe psychopharmacology, which is like medications. And don't be afraid of it. Don't take it as if you did something wrong. I think I'm hearing you talk about being able to forgive yourself. Like, what did I do? Did I wait too long? Did I mess up? Right. Part of this journey is going to be just saying to yourself, like, this is who my child is. I don't know if I could have perfectly done anything to have kept them from this pain. But it is my job to be there for them and to have a holding environment to help them get through this stress, get through this trial. And hopefully they come out on the other end, knowing that you are on their team. I think that was part of the next question that was happening to Hadassah. Like, when did you know that your mom was on your team? I remember hearing that.
Well, this is Allison from the Brain Tree. If you have a question for anybody on the show.
Actually, I don't have a question, Allison Jordan. Can you hear me?
We can.
My name is Deborah Jordan.
Hi! That's my Auntie Goobs. Hi, Auntie Goobs.
Hi, my love. I was calling to tell you have figured out God's plan.
Oh.
Bless you. Get back to work. I'm watching.
Thank you. I love you so much. And I just want to say thank you for standing for me and everything. Every show I get emotional because, you know, I love you so much. Thank you. It's our show. Thank you.
Love you, babe. Bye.
Okay. That's my auntie. She was She was standing for me at my lowest. And that's the important part, Rachel, is that you have this village. You've got Anthony now and, and Hadassah. And, we like to carry this on after, we have these moments. And as you saw what we did Sunday, when you were on the phone talking to that mom, and working through her, she's fresher than you. It's fresh and fresh and fresh. And she's got her daughter secure in a hospital today. She called me and she's so grateful to us. And the call that we had on Sunday was impactful. So know that you are making a difference. Corliss, I hope we remove the stigma on parents who have children that are this type of ill. People love to shame parents, but who shames parents when they have the flu or asthma? Illness is an illness. Wow.
Yes.
That's my friend Corliss. That's right. I think Pastor Jeanette, I'm sorry, go ahead. What did you want to say? Rachel?
I just with the comment, I wanted to piggyback off of that because a lot of times I would hear, oh, you just can't control your house. Your daughter's out of control. You don't know how to run your house. That's not it. That's not it.
Before you had your babies, and you've been an exceptional mother and a hands-on mother and a God-fearing mother. You were at church more than me in my mama's church, so that's not a question. And that's why we're here, is that mental wellness is real. And as Hadassah is sitting here to tell you, and the stigma is what's stopping most of us from getting it. So, the only thing we can say is sorry to our community, sorry to our society that made us feel a certain way when someone said your daughter needs Prozac and you're like, yeah, right, deuces, Right. And so we have to do something to change the narrative and normalize this conversation so that now you're calling and your reason and your why is to next time talk to a parent. That's why your parent advocates say, hey, explore this, think about this, right? Stephanie Reynolds, Hadassah, what would you say to your peers who may be experiencing what you experienced? Good question.
I would just look at it as your parents tried the hardest that they can, and the people around you try to love you in the space that they're in. So just to stay open-minded and to understand that they're also battling their own demons, and that not everybody was raised the same,
That's a good one. I think we had a question from Pastor Jeanette. I saw it come up and then it went away. So if you guys want to put that back up, go ahead. Hadassah, how are you today?
How much today?
I know that when I read your intro, you said that you were diagnosed with bipolar and ADHD, correct? Here it is. When did Hadassah realize that her family was on her team? What was her aha moment?
Aha moment. I'd have to say after my grandmother passed away, I got to see my family in a vulnerable state and see my mom for the person that she is. And I'm just like, wow, she's really given her life for me constantly. I can't do anything but respect that. It was just, it clicked at that moment.
Yeah, I think, and maybe Anthony, I was having this, we're talking a lot about when parents are discharged from the mental institution. So I just want to put that copy right out there because all of us, Anthony, you're going to be on the brain gang too, just so you know. I just told you on the brain gang. So we're all going to develop this sort of takeaway packet or something when parents or family or loved one or caretakers pick you up from the mental institution or from therapy. What to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. Because I think that's the issue. When did we know that our family was standing for us? We don't know. Like I said, my therapist told me anxiety and depression, they liars. That bitch would lie to you. They would tell you stuff that ain't true. So we don't never know nothing. So what is it, the responsibility of the family and the caretakers? How do they reframe themselves for us, right? What do you say, Anthony?
No, I agree. When you're in this state of depression, anxiety, bipolar, either a manic and a depressive state, it's really hard to see the world as it is, right? You see it through like this fog, this haze of the emotion. And then you have emotional reasoning. And so the parents or those trusting adults or anybody who's around you that wants to support you, they have to be a part of the journey and know your triggers. So I do think that, like Hadassah, you have to be able to be open. It seemed as if what typically happens is there's some other trauma or some other grief that unlocks us to see that other people are there for us. So when we're stuck in it, it's really hard to see it. But then when you see that other people have gone through similar pain or struggling alongside you and that they're not against you and they're for you, that's when that opening and connection happens again. And then you, as the trusting adult, you just have to ask, hey, what triggers you? What is it about the way I say things that are hard for you? And then just listen. Like a lot of times people will explain to you what's going on with them. I just think typically we don't want to sit still long enough to hear that conversation because it's also stressful for us, right? And particularly there are going to be times when, you know, the person who is suffering from the mental illness at that point, where they're kind of grasping to see, like, why am I this way? Why am I dealing with this? And they're trying to find somebody to blame. And sometimes it's hard to look internal and you're like, no, it's got to be somebody else's issue. And so they might lay the blame at your feet and you're like, I don't think that was me. So you take the percentage of the blame that you can, and then you let the rest of the responsibility go back to them. But you do honor, like, hey, I understand that I might have said something that was frustrating to you. I will make an effort to not do it in that way in the future, but I also have a boundary too. So can I give you my boundaries as well so that we collectively can work towards us being better? Because I don't want to stress you and I don't want to be stressed by you. So tell me what you need and can I tell you what I need as well? And I think having those conversations and talking about talking, I think so often we have a fight and we're trying to win the argument versus like, how do you receive information from me? How can I best communicate something to you? And then that improves our ability to talk to one another.
So I have to read a couple of more comments, and then I think don't this hour go by real fast, y'all?
Yeah. Yes.
It don't make no sense. We could talk about this for like forever. I could just keep going and going. The Earl's gonna throw something at me at one point. Dr. Gettings, it is such challenging. So Dr. Gettings is one of our brain gang. If you guys don't know, she's also a psychiatrist. It is such challenging decision to accept medication as a treatment option for a child for a multitude of reasons. Doing your homework first and making an informed decision is key. And I think Dr. Rita had put up something. I saw something quickly. I think you had the title. I think it was a comprehensive, great idea, comprehensive discharge package. That's what we're building. So you're already officially initiated as a brain gang member, Anthony. So we'll get your initiation papers covered. Mocha Mommy, a support system is this is Mocha Mommy. A support system is very important, and I can't thank my family and you for your assistance on my journey with my daughter. This is who we talked to, Rachel. They stand for me and are a force to be reckoned with. Keep up the good work. Yay! Gang member, we did it. Oh, that makes me feel good. Oh, that was mom of the family I was telling you about on Sunday, whose daughter is now safe in the arms of a really amazing facility that Dr. Gettings recommended. So we did the work, and that's what this is all about. So before we leave, Anthony, can we speak our youth in suicide? We got to do a part 2 with Anthony. Anthony's on the brain gang now. So there you go. We got to bring him back. I want to just say thank you to everybody. I want to close out starting with Anthony first, and then Rachel, and then Hadassah. I want you to end with some words. First, I want to tell us the why it was important for you to come here and speak your truth. And then what's the takeaway from tonight? Start with you, Anthony.
So the why, I think I'm passionate about mental health, particularly for our minority communities, that they see that we got to do some work. We got to understand what's going on internal to us so that we can live lives that are full for fulfillment. And so I think the takeaway would be, I like that idea of communication is key, really talking about things, understanding what's happening, understanding why you feel a certain way, why you think the way you do. And I think I would challenge everybody to start journaling and writing down What are your thoughts? Kind of having a thought journal so that you can understand like what is triggering me and where is it taking me. And I think that'll be a good way to start for everybody. Rochelle?
Mama, parent.
The why would be just speaking on a parent standpoint, understanding that the parents are traumatized just as much as everyone else in the house. And there's no resources for the parents or other people in the home. So just trying to create a platform for reaching back for someone else, where I was probably 2 years ago. Now look at me now. So there's somebody else that I'm sure that I could talk to that would help me. That is very therapeutic. So I look for people to talk to. That would be my takeaway. Who can I talk to? Who can I connect with when I'm still having bad days? So that's definitely my takeaway.
We got a whole bunch of good stuff to talk about. This ain't enough time.
Right.
But yeah.
We need a part 2.
We need a part 2, honey.
Yes.
So go ahead, Hadassah.
All right. I'd say my why is because communication is key, and communication opens doors to different possibilities. And what I've taken away from this experience is that at the end of the day, adults are humans too, and people out of our generation need to be more open to understanding them too and understanding the other side.
Well, thank you, everybody. This was such a cool show. How do I become like a Gen Z, cool guy, cool girl? We got jackets.
Yeah, we have jackets.
All right, guys. So next week, remember, tune into the Brain Troop. I think we're going to be on 1.7. And that's going to be every Tuesday. We're here at intellectualradio.com, iHeartRadio station. Next week, we're going to be talking to different members of the Brain Gang. And you can talk about mental health. So we're going to have Dr. Gettings, Prophetess June, and we'll be exploring, this is going to be good, exploring between the physiological, did I say that right? Physiological and spiritual effects of fasting and how fasting can have a positive impact on your mental health. This is going to be an awesome show. I always wonder that because my mom loves to fast. She's a pastor. And then I'll be like, you're supposed to fast. And then you're hungry and then you're mad. And then you take your medicine and so we want to balance off that next week. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in to another Brain Truth. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you, Brain Jones. Thank you, panel. I love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Tune in to The Brain Truth with Allison Jordan every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central. Repair, renew, reclaim.